And we're trying to nurture some newer people that
Why wouldn't he show up?
Hey, Danny.
I think I got over there.
While you're working on your camera, go ahead and click mute on your microphone.
Oh, thank you. I've put it in.
All right, and you see Catherine's note over in the chat box. She's got a quarantine toddler she's trying to protect us from. So say a prayer for her. All right, it's 5 o'clock. You see, I started the recording. Did y'all get the email with the Dropbox information?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll load stuff into that because I said it earlier. I'll say it again since more folks are here. I've been getting some emails from folks that can't be here at 5 o'clock. It's a bad time for them. So they would like you to consider other times. So just fair warning.
Is that earlier or later?
Okay, my gut was earlier because they talked about having children.
Hmm.
Have they proposed any better times, Margie?
No, they just pointed out they had kids and 5 o'clock sucked.
Let's see what they have in mind and we take it from there. I have some flexibility.
Well, no worries. Just I'm sharing from your fellow PEs. All right, everybody got the handouts for this time? You got a handout about satellite clubs published by Rotary International.
Mm-hmm.
You got one about passport clubs. And then for the youth programs, I just put all the links on one page. I have like big documents I can email to you if you want, but if you go to the links, you can just download them as you need them. So I guess let's start with Early Act. Who's got the first question about Early Act?
How early, how long ago has this been experimented with? Because I've never heard of it.
I first heard of it in about 2008. That was the very first time I heard it. Barry Smith, he was a PDG at that time, and Early Act was a program that was happening over in England, and he told us about it. I think, don't hold me to this, I think there is only one club in our district that's doing an Early Act program. And I don't know if they still have it. JD, do you know if you still have it?
You're muted,
There
JD.
we go. Margie, we're trying to start one. We've got, it may not happen this year, but I've got the person that I've selected for my new generations for next year. She's very excited about doing an early act.
Okay. Okay.
Margie, question on that. My nephew goes to Sweet Apple Elementary School in Roswell, or he did up until last year. And they had what they called an interact club for the kids, and he was 9 at the time.
Huh.
Wow.
So I don't know if somebody from Roswell, if there's somebody on Roswell on this call who knows anything about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Roswell online with us? Oh, bummer.
I'm finding it difficult to grasp how a 5-year-old what can we do with a 5-year-old in terms of understanding Rotary and trying to get them
Well, okay, did anybody on here ever get involved with the character counts program?
With the what?
Character counts.
Character counts? No.
I always felt like character counts was a cousin to early act. Anthony, wasn't character counts down near you? I've got it in my head Columbus did it.
It's a long, long, long time ago. Yeah, 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
Well, I know, again, back to Sweet Apple, I know they have some programs where they're doing, you get like character awards, and it's actually a pretty big deal to win it for your grade. And it is about things more like helpfulness, people who, help their fellow students. It's about, other type of skill sets. I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about, Margie, but again, I know Sweet Apple had something along those lines.
That may be it. They may be doing the character counts program and just calling it something else.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll send some text messages here and see what I can find out. Because yeah, early act, everything I've read about it, it looks a whole lot like the character counts program. And like Jennifer said, that it's a focus on character. And my understanding, and Anthony, correct me if my understanding is different than what you saw, or Jennifer, if it's different from what you saw. What they would do was each week there was a character word, like honesty. And they would focus on that word for the week. That was their word of the week for character building. So each week of school, the kids had a word. So Sam, it's not really like Rotary like we're thinking of it, but it's instilling Rotary values. in little kids.
Word association is what it mainly, a lot of word association, friendship, honesty, things of that nature.
Now, how do you maintain, or how do you go about physical interacting? What does that physical interaction looks like between the Rotary sponsor and this and the class of 6-year-olds? Do you go into the school once a week, or do you like conduct a class, or
We did some stuff with how many of y'all do give dictionaries to third graders?
yes?
Kind of what we did, and we built it up using the dictionary, and the teachers kind of used the dictionary, and they would look up all these words like caring, respect, empathy, all that, and kind of the teachers really ran it in the school.
Oh, okay. So once we give them that, I'm just trying to think what kind of physical interaction the Rotary Club sponsor would be doing. So it sounds to me like very little.
The early act program has the Rotarian doing the, our word this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you would go read, some of them like the Dr. Seuss thing they used to do. Instead of reading, you would come and do the character word kind of for the week or the month. Sometimes it's the month,
So let me make sure I understand. So a Rotarian would actually go to a grammar school and spend an hour. How does it all work? And which class? I mean, how does it start?
I feel the JD.
Now you see the challenge with early act. Because you're talking about 5 to 12-year-olds.
Right.
And what you do with a 5-year-old is way different than what you'd be doing
Yeah,
with a 12.
I mean, very short attention span.
Yeah.
Margie, we did a mentoring program at an elementary school, and I used to go once a week and mentor a student, and the teacher in the class, in his classroom, set up what he needed to work on, and I would just spend an hour with him, just trying to have a little bit of a relationship. And I did kindergarten and first grade. And I don't know, I thought it was very worthwhile. We also do the Dr. Seuss reading. I've done that too.
That's my favorite. I love to go and read.
Mhm. So I don't know if that would qualify as a early act, or because we're not setting the program up. The school is telling us what this child needs. He's weak in math, or he's weak in reading or whatever, and they would give us little worksheet things to work with them on it.
So when you go, it would be a one-on-one. So you would not be in a classroom. It'll be a one-on-one.
Right. We would, he would come out of the classroom and would go into a separate little room
Okay.
where we, or sometimes out in the hallway.
And Sam, talk with Don Sampler.
Okay.
He did reading and mentoring for a lot of years. So here's my impression on Early Act. It appears to be a program that clubs outside of the United States have adopted. And I can only assume that their school systems function differently than ours, and maybe give them a little more leeway. But I do know in Georgia, we've done the Character Counts program, which to me sounds a whole lot like the Early Act. And yeah, Jennifer, Roswell might be calling it Interact, but yeah, they're reaching down. Are they doing projects or character focus?
It was, they did a couple of service projects where they had the kids stay after school and, for example, put together packages for other groups and things like that. So there was an activity involved. My nephew got involved the year that got cut short by COVID, and then they didn't have it during 5th grade year because of COVID. Now he's on in middle school. So I don't know what else they may have been doing.
All right, so we need to talk with the Roswell Club and see what they're doing. Anthony, can you scrounge up some information on character counts?
Okay.
Thank you. I know he's close to it.
Margie, it seems to me, I like the idea of getting the kids started into doing service. I understand the character thing, but I don't know how does a Rotarian go there in the middle of the class and talk about honor or something. But I like the idea that Jennifer mentioned, after school, getting some whose parents will let them do it, put some stuff together, pack backpacks or something to get them in the habit of service, because that's what Rotary is all about. I like that, I guess, more than I do the character counts. I'm having a little trouble seeing how that works and how Rotary, just like Samuel mentioned, how does Rotary interact physically with that? But I understand with the service that would teach them a lot.
Yeah, Margie, you can go to charactercounts.org and it'll give you all the information you need on that with education, what they do education wise, performance character, intellectual character, civic character, moral character. So
Please go ahead and put that up in the chat box, please.
okay.
Thank you. All right, so there's a resource for you. And you see we've got a resource in there for Early Act. You can go to that link and look it up and see how it works. And now we know we can contact the Roswell Club and ask them what they're doing and how that works. All right, does that answer I guess the top level questions on character counts?
Yeah.
Or on Early Act, I'm sorry. Well, I see we've got a guest that's joined us online. I talked to her earlier on the phone. One of the things she said y'all wanted to talk about was Rotaract. So I'd like to introduce you to a brand shiny new Rotaractor. I mean, like they just chartered. So no fair asking deep dive questions, but you can surely ask Natalie about what it's like to be a Rotaractor and why she considered it. Natalie, would you like to talk a little bit before they start quizzing you?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Margie, and thank you for inviting us for this meeting. With me, I have two officer members of our Rotary Club. Urja Ghoshal, she is the treasurer, and Dhruvi Patel. If you can come a little closer, they can see you. So, well, we are very new Rotary Club. We have been working very hard and very happy with our Rotary Club sponsor, which is Emory Drill Hills. And Rotary, we are the youngest. We say that we are the youngest family member of our club. Since Rotary has the money, let's say, and the projects, but sometimes Rotary doesn't have the time to execute the projects. So we Roracks can help because we have more time, we are young people, and we make it fun. And also, let's say, for example, with our club, we are, our Rotary Club will be donating 200 mobility cars in Mombasa. So they will be donating the mobility cars, but the mobility cars is not just giving the mobility cars. We will, as a Rotaract, we have get this project to train each child who will get the mobility cars.
And try to help them to assemble the cards.
Yes, yes, we will personalize the cards and encourage them to use it.
I'm sorry, can I ask, what's a mobility card?
Mobility car, it's, how should I say it? It's a car for disabled people, children who cannot walk. And instead of going to the school, scrolling, they can go with the mobility car. The wheelchair doesn't have a place where to put the backpacks, notebooks. So the mobility car has in the back,
carriage.
Yes, a carriage where they put the backpacks and their utensils, and then they scroll it with the hand. It's not with the legs. So I don't know how to explain you. Can you explain them how does the mobility car looks like?
So it's like a bike?
It's like
Kind
a bike,
of.
but run by a hand.
Oh, okay. 2 wheels or 3 wheels?
It has 3 wheels.
Oh, okay.
It has
Oh,
3
okay,
wheels.
okay.
Yes, and they do it with hand.
Will you guys be going to
Manoj,
Mombasa?
Yes, we plan to.
Yes, we are planning to go to Mombasa.
Okay. Can you give us some more examples of Rotaract interactions or how this symbiotic relationship works?
Yes, well, another example that we can give you is that our Rotary Club, sponsor Rotary Club, they were feeding 100 people homeless every month. So they had the money, but they didn't have the time and the resources to execute the project. So as a Rotaract, we take the challenge and we did the logistics to get the meals and deliver to each month to the shelter homeless.
And that's where?
Sorry?
Where is that?
At the
Where do
bus.
you do that?
With Mark's Ministries.
Where is that?
It is in Marietta. It's a
Oh,
homeless,
okay.
Shelter center. So that is another example, and that is what is coming in my mind right now. I will give me another example that we have been working with Rory and Rotaract.
So Natalie,
Very
which
good.
school do you go to?
Sorry?
What school do you all go to?
I already finished college.
We all have finished college.
We all have finished college.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we are not in college right now. We already finished college.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So also we have worked with another Rotary clubs. We just have not worked with our sponsor. We have connected with another Rotary clubs, which, for example, they had school supplies. So they share with us and we join with them to supply to different schools.
And then for that
You've been working with
Yeah.
scissors, backpack,
Gators.
medical
we-
equipment drive, FODEC.
Yes, the medical equipment drive with FODA. We have been working a lot with FODA as well.
So given the age group, I take it your membership makeup is what, college students?
Call it between 18 up to 30.
I
So
think
what's-
I can correct that. It used to be 18 to 30. Now it is 18 and no limit.
Okay.
So
So
would you, okay, I'm
so
sorry. go ahead.
where do your membership comes from? Because that's all wide. It could be anybody. And where do you get them?
Mhm.
Repeat again your question.
Their membership, if it goes from 18 to say 30, those are adults, young adults.
Yes.
Where do you recruit members? Where your current membership, what's the makeup of it? Students, working young people, what?
So how did it start is that we
So where do you get
were-
your members, Natalie? You know, like where was your last membership drive, or how do you get your
Drive,
members?
at an Indian consulate function, which happened on the 15th of August. And wherein we did get around, we did recruit around
about four
people
four
from
new
there.
members. So, but he asked how we started, right?
No,
How-
you're like your current membership. What's the makeup of it? I mean, how many percent are students? How many are, whatever? What kind? I'm trying to get a sense of what the membership makeup is like.
We started with 11
No,
members.
yeah, but how many of them are students? How many of them are young working people, and how many of them are really, uncle, grandfather?
I'd say probably 20% of them are at the upper age limit, and say around 30 to 40% are students, and the remaining are young working professionals.
Yes.
How many members in your Rotaract Club?
So far, we are about 15.
15. Yeah.
Even 15, 1-5?
Yes.
Yes, 1-5. Yes, 15. We started with 11. With 11, right?
And
Yes.
Okay.
again, how long ago was that? So when did you start?
We started last year on September.
Oh, okay.
So we are very new.
Margie, how many does it take to start a Rotaract Club? 8?
I think it is a 20, if I'm not mistaken, around
Yeah.
20. Or
'Cause
you
they've only
have
got
to,
they've only got 15. That's what surprised me.
And there
I
are
think
Rotary
that-
clubs today with only like 6 members. The number you need to charter and the number you need to stay a viable club aren't the same. But Rotaract clubs changed a lot effective in 2019. Minosh pointed out one of them. It used to be at 30 years old, you aged out of Rotaract, and you had to either quit or move into a Rotary club. They've now removed that upper limit, and Rotaractors can be at the same time, they can be a member of a Rotaract club and a member of a Rotary club. It's one of those very odd things that came out of the Council of Legislation in 2019. Honestly, still working out all of the details for what that really looks like in real life. But Rotaract clubs their niche in the world. And ladies, feel free to correct me if you think I'm missing the point, okay?
Yes.
Their Rotaract's niche are the young folks. Okay, you start with college age. Maybe they were an Interact kid in high school. Rotaract gives them a place to move into because you absolutely age out of Interact. Once you turn 18, you can no longer be an Interactor. So Rotaract gives you a place to go. Young professionals tend to move into Rotaract because Rotaract is less expensive. Rotaractors do not pay dues to the district, and they do not pay dues to Rotary International. So
what benefits do they get from the association with Rotary?
okay, since they were brought under the Rotary umbrella and their status changed in 2019, the #1 benefit to a Rotaractor is that they are entered into Rotary.org. And just like all y'all can log in to My Rotary and you have access to all this information, Rotaractors can now access information on Rotary.org. That was actually the biggest thing. And since I was at the Council of Legislation, I can tell you it's the #1 reason we passed it, because we were all dumbfounded to find out our Rotaractors didn't have access to information. But it's a really symbiotic relationship with a Rotary Club because Rotaractors and Rotarians work together to do projects. And Rotaractors, I know Natalie talked about supporting Rotary clubs with their projects, but here's the deal, Rotaract clubs, they can't get district grants. Okay, they're not eligible for that, but they can initiate projects. They can come up with projects on their own, and you may have Natalie knocking on your door and saying, hey, will you come help my Rotaract club with this project? So it's very symbiotic. They can help your club, but your club can work with them as well. And
They have to be sponsored by a club, Margie?
the official
They have
answer
to be,
is no.
they
it's
have to be
like a
sponsored by
Rotary.
a Rotary Club.
Just
Yes.
like a Rotary Club is normally sponsored by another Rotary Club, but can apply to membership straight to Rotary.org. Rotaractors are the same way, but just like a Rotary Club, they're stronger if they have a partner.
Is there a benefit for
How
starting
do-
a Rotary club? Because we're talking about doing a young professionals rate in our club instead of doing, really getting involved with a lot of Rotaracts. I'm happy to help you though, Natalie.
I'm trying to figure out how to actually start a Rotaract club. The one that we had in our club all these years, because it was in the university, when they graduate, they leave and they're not from around here. So the club is not sustainable. So I was actually proposing that we start out a community Rotaract club, because in that way you have people that are within the environment and they would stay and do the Rotaract work. What my challenge now is how to even go about starting the Rotaract club. So I wanted to hear from Natalie when they were asking those questions, asking, how did you start? How did it come into being?
So see, how we started is you have friends, we have family. I was invited to the Rotary Club to join the meeting as a guest. So then they started talking about Rotaract. So I said, that might be interesting for us. Then it came, I have a friend who would like to join. And not necessary, it has to be college student. It is good if we have young people, but as you said, the college, it is very difficult because when they finish college, they move. So it's good to have like a closer friends. So member of your Rotary Club can have like the daughter, the son, nephew, friend to friend, one friend to another friend will connect us. And this is how the way how we have been connected. One friend to another friend has connected us. And then last time we did the drive, membership drive. So we got new members as well.
So what kind of paperwork is involved to establish yourself as a club?
Sam?
Yes.
We're going to make this short.
Okay.
Sam, use the link on the paper that I gave you. There's a complete guidebook that you can download that explains how to set up a Rotaract club. It includes the forms. It has all of the information.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
And what you described, Natalie, is the Rotaract clubs I know of started the same way. Somebody had a child, a nephew, a niece, somebody who was a young adult with a heart of service,
right?
Who functioned as the pivot point to get everything started.
Yes.
So you find your pivot point. If you've got an Interact club, look in your Interact club, because the high school seniors in your Interact club, that might be the pivot point to start your Rotaract, is when that person graduates.
Margie, if I may, regarding the grants, I don't know, somewhere I read or in one of the meeting I heard probably they will not be eligible this year, but from next year onward, they will be eligible even for the global grants.
It has to be approved by the Council on Legislation. Do I think it'll be presented to the Council on Legislation next year? Yes, I do think it will. But until it is voted on and approved, they have to work with a Rotary Club. And Rotaractors, remember, Rotary Clubs can get grants, present the projects to the Rotary Clubs, because they might have to file the paperwork, but you can get funding for your project that way. All right, other questions for our Rotaractors? Well, you're making it easy. Okay.
I will add one more thing. Since I am a Rotary Club member, our club is the one which has sponsored. But to help this Rotaractor to add the membership, I'm having a dual membership as a Rotary member and also Rotaract.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
So I pay both the membership dues. This helps.
Very nice.
Yes.
All right.
That motivate you guys to do the same thing for your club.
All right, how many folks on here have a Rotaract club already? Sam, raise your hand. Sam, raise your hand. Okay, so we got some Rotaract. So here's some ideas. Natalie, if you're willing to share your contact information in the chat box, that way, if everybody comes up with questions later, they'll have a way to ask you.
Sure. Yes, I will do it right now.
Thank you very much. And everybody, do you know how to save the chat box?
Yeah, just click. Yeah.
Yep, go down there, the three little dots down on the box where you type in the three little dots. If you click it at the very top, it says save chat. So that way you'll have a record of like the Character Counts website. You can just click on Natalie's email address. I've got her name, but I don't have an email address. But contact information, that sort of stuff, anything that gets shared. All right, so how many folks have an Interact club? There's a few. Oh, there's a lot. Cool. Okay.
Interact.
Now that you've heard about Rotaract, what questions do you have about Interact? JD, what you got?
D.
Margie, how does it differ from GRSP?
Anybody want to field that? All right.
I can take a stab at it.
Okay, please.
All right. So the Interact Club, the Interact Clubs are kind of like a Rotaract Club, but they are within the high schools. They meet, they'll have the clubs. It's a club within the school. So usually the teachers are the ones that spearhead those meetings. We as Rotarians are supposed to once in a while go to their meetings and meet with them and make sure that they're doing all the right things. The GRSP they are not necessarily Rotarians, but Georgia reaches out to individuals from around the world, bring them all in and kind of like teach them the culture of Rotary. And they, it's like a network for they network with the whole world and go back to their respective places. And most often they turn out to be Rotarians themselves, but they are not Rotarians to begin with. They are individuals in different countries. Am I right?
You're right. And I add to it, they're college kids. We bring them here for a year to go to college. But you're right, it's a cultural exchange.
It's only in Georgia.
Yeah.
The Georgia.
Yep.
So the difference is high school versus college?
No, the
Go ahead, Anthony.
GRSP is strictly a Georgia-based program that started with Mr. Will Watt back years ago, and it's basically funded and everything through our 3 districts. And we basically, the clubs in our 3 districts pick students from around the world to come for an exchange in a college for 1 year and to basically experience the American, experience. They stay with host families that are in the 3 districts in Georgia to experience what an American life is, and then take that knowledge and go back to their country. It's kind of a peace scholar-like type thing to encourage peace and through the United States, through other countries.
But the Rotary Youth Exchange also has inbound students, which is the same as GRSP, but it also has outbound. So I'm not sure.
No, it's not the same.
Well, the thing, Rotary Youth Exchange has an outbound and an inbound, doesn't it?
Yes.
From what I read.
Right.
But GRSP only has inbound.
Okay, we're getting some things mixed up. Eileen, I'm muting you. There's something weird going on. We're getting some terms mixed up. Okay. Interact is like Rotaract for high schools. Okay, I'm going to mute the other one. There we go. Interact is Rotaract for high school. GRSP and Rotary Youth Exchange are both traveling. They're the most alike. GRSP is inbound only, college kids. Rotary Youth Exchange is high school kids both ways. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you like a piece of trivia? Goofy trivia? Anybody here watch that 70s show? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
The character Raj, or not Raj, what was it? Fez? He was a Rotary Youth Exchange student. Fez stands for Foreign Exchange Student. That's why they called him Fez. So there you go. Rotary Youth Exchange made it to TV. But Rotary Youth Exchange is an international program for Rotarians all around the world to trade folks back and forth. When we bring kids in, we also send kids out. But GRSP was a peace initiative started in Thomasville by Will Watt and brought kids here. It started up right after World War II. And Will Watt believed, as Paul Harris believed, the founder of Rotary, that the more people understood each other, the less likely there would ever be for another world war. So they came here to find out that we weren't the horrible devils from World War II. So they're both good programs, but they don't overlap.
Margie, it looks like from my reading that the other difference might be that Rotary Youth Exchange can be children and grandchildren of Rotarians, but GRSP cannot. Is that incorrect?
That would be correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what does the acronym GRSP? I guess GR is Georgia Rotary. What is SP?
Anybody?
Georgia Rotary
program.
Student program, I think.
Student program.
Okay. Georgia Rotary Student Program.
We had in Decatur Club, we had a GRSP girl, young lady from Scotland, and she was going off to college at the University of Aberdeen, but her program would be strictly in ocean science and biology, which was her major, but there was no liberal arts in the 4 years training. So she came here to Atlanta and took a year of liberal arts courses at Oglethorpe under the GRSP program, and then went back and started college in ocean science in Scotland.
Oh,
And
very
Carol,
cool.
She had a year of learning about America and also getting liberal arts.
we've had really good run with it in Carrollton, being a college town. We have a relationship with the University of West Georgia, and we have other clubs who sponsor with us. And we have a student from Jamaica right now who we have, and we've had them from we've had actually some who have, once they've come to the United States, they've decided to stay. And then they're going to school in other places now. They've done their graduate work elsewhere. So it's pretty neat.
Absolutely. And it seems like clubs that have really good close relationships with universities are the most involved with GRSP. And thank you, Ryan, for putting the link up there. I appreciate it. I have no idea why I forgot to put it on that paper. Thank you. All right. What other questions about? I'll stick. We only have 15 minutes left. We'll stick with the youth programs here.
I have a question. We have some people in our club who were maybe looking at wanting to go with the student exchange program versus we have a kind of a split thought process on this. With the GRSP, they don't live with you in your home, that they're living on campus at the university. And some of us in the club feel like that's we're here to support. We'll take them to the airport, take them to different activities or whatever they need and that kind of thing, bring them to our club for lunch. But the student exchange means you have, and sometimes it's even hard enough to get a sponsor for the GRSP student. I'm just wondering how difficult it would, if any of y'all do the student exchange program, how difficult it is to find a club sponsor willing to have a student live with them for a whole year.
The student lives with 3 families. They don't live with one family. They live with 3 different families, 3 months each. And when the number of exchange students that come in, we have to have the same number of exchange students going out. And therefore, the students that are applying, they're asked to suggest potential families for the club that would be host families. So far, I think they've had a pretty easy time of it. Well, maybe not easy, but a pretty good. They haven't had too much trouble in finding host families to do that.
Okay, so it's 3 months for
That's
each
how that
family.
works.
Is that a standard of the program, or
Yes.
is that something you just do as your club with your club?
That's the standard of the program.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, the families do not have to be Rotarian families.
Okay.
That's correct.
Our biggest problem
They
was,
can be, but Ms. Moore.
our biggest problem was finding host families in the school district where the student was
Yeah.
going, because they have to be in that school district.
One of you was saying something about the inbound students staying in the dormitories. Which program is that under? Because the GRSP, they stay in host homes.
No, our GRSP person lived in the Oglethorpe dorm.
Okay.
So does the ones at Carrollton at West Georgia.
I didn't know that was an option. Okay. Now, they've just changed the funding requirements for that this year, haven't they, Margie or George? Seems like there's a max now of like $5,500 or $6,000. And then the district picks up the rest of it. They pick up another 6,000, a total of 12, something like that.
Are we talking GRSP or Rotary Youth Exchange?
GRSP.
GRSP changes the funding every single year, and honestly, I don't know what it is this year.
But this was a new program. This was a new program. Doc Jaleel was just telling me about it a month ago, that they've set a maximum now, that how much each club has to come up with. And the district is going to match it up to, I think, $6,000. So the total, and now you select which university, like Oglethorpe or Georgia Tech, and then I can't remember whether you get to select your student or they select it for you. But the student knows they've got $12,000 of their $18,000, tuition. That's the latest that I've heard anyway. George, do you have anything more current than that?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I was trying to. The difference they're talking about now is usually in the past, the GRSP students that came over for the exchange were not in a degree program at all. They came over and they could take any courses they wanted to take. Whereas now they're looking at a student that's already enrolled in a college, whether it's UGA, Georgia Tech, West Georgia, or wherever, and they're willing to help supplement his tuition, is my understanding.
Well, this program's called, I believe, Direct Selection. I believe that's the name. That it was an experimental program, and now, according to Dr. Jaleel, it's become now a Direct Selection. Is the name of it, and the beauty of it is it lets us know how much we need to fund each year. We had been funding like $18,000, and it was breaking our bank.
Exactly.
Would y'all like me to get a GRSP rep just to come on and y'all can quiz them? Do you want the same thing for Rotary Youth Exchange?
I would be interested in the GRSP. We've always enjoyed participating in that program, but it got so expensive. We were sharing the student with up to 3 clubs, and you really didn't get to see them or know them as much because they split their time between clubs. So if they have something where the district is going to help us with some of that, I'd be interested.
All right, I will track down a resource to come on here and answer questions. We'll just have one session on GRSP, but it means I'll find out when they're available, and that's when it'll get scheduled, is whenever they can give us an hour. but I will record it and upload it to the Dropbox. So if it's a time where you can't be on it, and when I find out the time and send it out, if you can't be there, be sure to send in your questions so that they get addressed. Okay? All right, I've got a note. I'll get a GRSP rep and we'll set that up. Now we only have 8 minutes. That's probably not enough to talk about satellite or passport clubs. So you can read the attachment that went out. Do you have any easy questions based on what you've seen already? Why, yes, JD, I knew you would.
Of course, I always ask the silly questions. I'm having a little trouble understanding the difference. Satellite club, is the passport a standalone club?
It can be, or it can function as a satellite club. Okay, a satellite club, the short version is a satellite club is part of your club that functions separately. They normally meet at a different day, a different time. My club had we never chartered, but a functioning satellite for a couple, 3 years because Stone Mountain meets at noon, but there were a bunch of us that got together for breakfast and we'd meet and we did Rotary stuff. So it was a functioning satellite club. It just meant at breakfast instead of at noon. Satellite clubs have their own charter. Okay, so they function independently, but they are on your membership roster and they carry your club's name. So if you are the Rotary Club of Griffin, your satellite club might be the Satellite Club of Griffin Daybreak, which means you would meet in the morning, and you can have any number of satellite clubs that you want, whatever serves your community and your club. A passport club is a club model where a satellite club looks just like a Rotary club, just meets at a different time. The passport club is a model. The passport club recognizes that some people are not able, and in some cases not willing, to attend a weekly meeting. So a passport club meets either once or maybe twice a month. They do not have speakers. They generally don't have meals. They meet for the purpose of service. So they either meet to do service, or they meet to report service, or they meet to plan service. So it's a little bit different. It is entirely a service-centric group. Have any of y'all heard of Rotary Community Corps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Peachtree City.
We have one, yeah.
A community corps is a group of people in your community who gather together to support service projects. And sometimes they even bring service projects to your club. They're not Rotarians, they're not Rotaractors, they're community corps members. Peachtree City has got one made up of differently abled people that get together to do projects. It's awesome, right? I kind of think of passport clubs as being the next step, okay? Because people in a passport club are Rotarians. A passport club can be a standalone club, 20 plus members to charter, or they can be a satellite of a Rotary club. Either one works, but this is a brand new club model that Rotary rolled out in the last 12 months. So that's the 5,000 foot overview.
Okay, so since the satellite club they're counted as members of your club, how does that go as far as attendance? You know, we're looking for 100% attendance or 80% attendance. And also, how does it account for a quorum? if you have to approve your budget or you have to approve the officers, how does the satellite club factor into that? Because they're not coming to a lot of the meetings.
Oh, they won't come to hardly any. Think of them as sister clubs, because a satellite club has its own charter, has its own bylaws, has its own dues structure, has its own attendance, entirely separate from the mother club. Now, attendance, this is an interesting thing. Rotary International does not track attendance anymore. If your club is tracking attendance, it's because your club is tracking attendance. Nobody's collecting that information from you. That's all yours. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it's all you.
I know that happened because during the COVID. Is that going to be a permanent thing? I guess that's my question.
Rotary International discontinued attendance reporting in I have to count back. It was one of the Council on Legislation. I think it was in 2010 is when Rotary International got rid of it. Yeah, 2010. It might have been before that. It might have been 2007.
Well, is district going to count it?
No, district hasn't counted it in, I know we didn't count it in 2012. I was governor 11-12. We didn't count it then. But we had clubs that tracked it. And like I said, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it.
We've been turning in reports. I thought they were necessary. Okay.
I wonder where they're going. There's somebody somewhere going, oh, isn't that nice?
Somebody's job just got a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, see, that's it. You need to think about attendance, because even though Rotary International doesn't require it, the district doesn't require it, it might be a part of your club's culture. So you want to continue it. And one of the things that I really, really liked back when my club did take attendance and track it is you could see when somebody had one foot out the door. And I liked that very much, because I'm always afraid if you're not tracking attendance, they'll get away, and just one day you'll look around and go, where's Bob? I haven't seen Bob in forever.
And well, doesn't Rotary still require 60% attendance or something like that?
You know, that's an odd thing. They do, except there's no attendance reporting. I just think they haven't updated that yet.
Yeah, I was just thinking, how could you not be reporting attendance and then you have to account for it? So it didn't make sense.
I agree. It's weird. But there is no attendance reporting. Yes, it still shows that you have to 60% at your home club.
Well, I hope they don't change that, because I mean, that's it. We're tracking it, and we call anybody who's been absent three consecutive weeks. So we're tracking it because we want the attendance, and I hope they don't do away with that 60%.
Well, that's it. As part of your club's culture, you should keep it. Yeah. All right. So I know I'm going to get you a GRSP rep, and I don't know when that'll be. When do you guys want to meet again? Look at how many are here and look how many could be here. Okay. And what do you want to talk about?
Well, 2 weeks from now is Labor Day, so I don't think that'll be a good one.
Well, you could just tell me that the next meeting will be whenever I can get the GRSP rep, and then you can pick another meeting after that.
Okay, that works for me.
Are y'all good with that?
Yeah, at least 2 weeks out.
Try to make it 2 weeks from now.
I don't want you coming back tomorrow and say, hey, the guy's available Friday.
Okay. I'll
Good
try to
point,
encourage them. And I want to publicly say thank you to JD because that editable, self-study program, JD is the one that converted it, made it self-editable. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good checklist.
Yep.
To follow. Yeah.
All righty.
All right.
I will upload this recording to Dropbox so you can catch it and tell your fellow PEs, bring their questions. We're going to talk GRSP.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
You were nice.
You want to stop the recording?
Yes, please. Hold on.